All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Rim Grazers podcast. This week, I am again joined by Frank.
Surprise, surprise.
And, it's just me and Frank. So, not much has been happening. The NBA has been moving forward with their bubble in Orlando, and it seems like players are situated. They're now practicing. But we have some news on another bubble that will be, I believe, in Chicago.
Yes.
Where the 8 teams that were left out of the NBA restart will be playing in this bubble. I don't know what the benefits are yet. I'm assuming just probably paychecks.
Mm-hmm.
But we kind of touched on this before, but I'll let Frank get a little more into it.
Yeah, I guess it's well, I'll read the statement from Curry because they actually asked him about it, since technically the Warriors are invited to the bubble, and he said it would be hard for him to play meaningless games, which, I mean, I guess is true, and like Mac touched on, if there's some sort of like like paycheck for it. The other thing that Curry mentioned was that it would be good for the youth and like the younger players, so they avoid some sort of like 8 to 9 month layoff since the virus. So I guess it would be good for like some of the rookies and even like the younger guys to just get back into the basketball shape, especially with the off season being kind of up in the air, because who knows how long they're going to allow before the next season has to get started. So I guess, like a possible paycheck for it, and then just kind of working with your teammates and just getting in shape, getting back to the basketball game speed, I suppose, is about the only benefits. But yeah, they're really not playing for any sort of championship at that point. So
yeah, we talked about that previously, how this bubble, it was just more so, like you touched on this last time too, just an opportunity for younger players to go ahead and build some camaraderie and run around with their teammates, practice certain plays maybe that the coach has, get used to just one another and systems and things like that. But beyond that, it really doesn't have a meaning. But I didn't think about it in terms of a long layoff, because games stopped in March, and usually the NBA off seasons from, well, we'll put it this way, because those teams wouldn't have made the playoffs anyway, so they would have stopped playing mid-April, right? And then training camp starts, I want to say like the end of August, like early October.
Yeah.
Or no, not the end of August. Probably September, actually. I think September is when training camp begins, right? Maybe mid-September.
Yeah, because in October season, yeah.
Yeah, because mid-October, you start to have preseason games. So I'm going to say like September, you're probably starting to get back into basketball. So that's a pretty big gap, but it's also, was that 4, maybe like 3.5 months?
Yeah.
But now you're talking about if you're not playing from March all the way until, I guess, till camps open in November. That's essentially like 7 months off.
It's like, who knows when they're gonna start the next. Did they already put dates in place, like when they want the like Game 7 finals? If it comes to that, I thought they had that in place.
Yeah,
like
so
the latest
the finals would happen October 12th is the last. That would be Game 7 of the finals if it went that. So that's the last day. And then I think the week after, I don't know if it's free agency first. No, I think it's the draft first. Then free agency is like only a few days after that. And then it's a pretty rushed like time off, because the season's going to start again December 1st.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just so just such an unusual circumstance with how this year's played out. So it's just definitely good to get those players in and working with their teammates, because I mean, who knows when everything's going to start up and whatever's going to happen with the end of this season in this bubble. So yeah.
Yeah, it's really not a bad thing. I just, I think for the younger players, they might not care as much, but for older players, you're going to have to weigh a lot of options. Is it really worth going to that bubble for that amount of time? If you have a family and stuff, because the older players, I think they're more concerned about health problems leading to more issues beyond just themselves. Whereas younger players, you know, they're probably already like living on their own, and I'm assuming the people they're with most of the time are probably their teammates. So if you don't have a fam, like, well, not to say you don't have a family, but you know what I mean. They don't have a family of their own.
Yeah.
And if they're not with their parents a lot, like, what's their main concern? Like, I know for myself, like, I'm 24, so I'd be willing to probably go and play in this with knowing that the risk of me catching it is not going to lead to me bringing it back to anybody.
Yeah.
But like, if I had like a family of my own, I would probably look at this a lot differently. If I was older, probably a lot differently. I'm not saying like to be naive, but you know, if you're a younger player, I think the opportunity to play and like work with your team and also make some money is more beneficial to you than somebody who's already made a ton of NBA checks and, you know, it's kind of settled into life.
Yeah, I agree. It kind of outweighs the risk factors for those younger players because, like you said, they're asymptomatic and they don't really have anyone that they're living with. They're usually on their own, like you said, so they're not really risking it for anyone else but themselves. And even at the slight chance they do get it, it's not really anything bad. So, I mean, like you said, that like Curry and some of these older guys, especially on the Warriors, it's like I like Clay definitely wouldn't play, wouldn't risk anything, especially with the recovery from the ACL and Curry. I mean, it's like what's the point of even playing at that point? So definitely these veteran players are the ones that have to make a decision, and I don't think, and most of them since they've been in the NBA for so long and they have the money. I mean, Curry's definitely not worried about a paycheck here. I mean, so some of these veteran players just have to think about, you know, is it even worth my time to play? I don't think money's a concern for them, but definitely for the younger guys, I think it would come down to money and just getting to know your teammates a little bit more and just getting back in shape, getting ready for whenever next season begins.
Yeah, and it, you know, this kind of leads into the next area that we're going to talk about, so I'm just going to go there. Richaun Holmes, I'm pretty sure he's younger, right?
Yeah, I think he's like 25 or
right. So he left the part of campus, well, that's what I'm going to call it, but like basically the area that's like blocked off for NBA players. So there's no interaction between, you know, park guests since Disney World is open again. It's just the players are the only ones allowed to out and to interact in these areas, and there's the rules you have to follow. So he went and picked up food that was outside of that area that's blocked off. Apparently it was like delivery, and he had to run out to like the front of the park or something to pick this up, and then just brought it back. And I think that just speaks volumes to like what we were just talking about. Like, this is a younger guy who, not saying he's taking a huge risk, but he's just not thinking about others, which is fine. I'm not like criticizing the guy. It's just, you know, it's way different thinking for him than it would be for one of these older players. Like, you see Chris Paul on social media playing cornhole with his teammates, and they're all wearing masks the whole time. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like a way different thought process. Like, I have a feeling this didn't even like cross his mind that what he was doing was super wrong, because I'm sure the guy called him and said like, hey, they can't let me into the park. And he just said, yeah, I'll just meet you over there. You know what I mean? Like, it probably didn't even cross his mind like that he shouldn't leave that area. But, you know, again, that's the problem with this, because you got players who see things a lot differently. A younger player, in their mind, he's just like, shit, I'm hungry. I gotta go get my food. Like, whereas, you know, if this was like LeBron or something, they would take more than one step to get that food to their room. You know what I mean? Or whatever, any of these older players. So
I wouldn't crucify the guy, but I mean, he did make a simple mistake. I'm kind of wondering if there was someone that like could have gotten the food for him, like a part of the staff or just someone in the hotel. I don't know if that was even an option, but I mean, he just that's what I'm thinking, especially for an NBA player, like, especially with the situation at hand. I feel like there could have been someone that could have gotten the food for him, but like you said, it probably was like 2-3 in the morning. You know, they're staying up late, they got nothing else to do, and he just ordered, I don't know, Grubhub or something, and he just walks out and grabs it and then came back. So it's not like he took a huge risk, but again, he has to. He probably should have thought about that. It's not just him that he's risking there. It's him getting in contact with the delivery driver, and then bringing it back to his teammates and even older players on the team and the hotel itself. So yeah, just a simple mistake. You can't like fault him for it, but probably should have just thought it through first.
And I'm sure he took like the proper precautions. Like wearing a mask, like gloves, and making sure like he cleaned himself up like once he got back. But he's got to understand like the reason the NBA is doing this bubble is exactly like for the reason why he shouldn't be going out and picking up food for somebody. Yeah. It's literally to like isolate these guys from any interactions outside of this thing. So if you're not following rules or you're going and doing this, you're going to get hit with what he got hit with, which is he has to quarantine for 8 days, which it kind of sucks right now, but at least it's still early. Whereas once you start getting into games, you don't want to make the mistake of leaving the bubble to go, whatever, pick up food or some stupid thing like this,
Yeah.
And I hope it's more of a warning to the rest of the players. Like, hey, we went through a lot to set this up.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need you doing something like this. That's completely unnecessary and could put this whole thing in jeopardy. Because now if this was a player on like the Clippers or the Lakers or like one of these contending teams and the guy went out to do whatever and brought it back and now one of the best players on that team has it or half the roster has it, like that could like put your championship hopes in jeopardy. And I don't know. I don't know if that's, again, maybe since he's on the Kings, he's like, I don't even know what the fuck we're doing here type of deal. Like, maybe he's just like, whatever. But, I'm hoping, like, players on contending teams also take it more serious. So that might also play into it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we assumed that there was going to be some people, whether it was staff, trainers, or players. I think more so it was, like, going to be one of these, like, bench guys or just someone that isn't insignificant towards like the team's success, that would probably do some dumb shit like this. So I can't say I didn't see it coming, but
I mean, I didn't think it was gonna be this stupid either.
No,
I really thought it would just be something. I really thought it was gonna be like a chef or like maybe not a chef, I don't know, I guess somebody maybe interacting like behind the scenes, somebody that we're not going to hear a name about, that's going to somehow give it to someone, and then they're going to give it to one of the players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so I thought it'd be like a, not a straight up interaction from a player.
Yeah, I didn't think it would be like all like his doing. You know what I mean? Like there would be some other party involved that made a mistake, but yeah, I don't know.
And he's not the only one, I don't think. If this is the Bruno Caboclo, I knew I was gonna botch this.
Caboclo, I don't even know.
Caboclo. What do you mean with that?
Bruno.
That one's Bruno Mars.
Yeah, there you go.
The forward for the Rockets. I'm not even sure like every person knows who this guy is. I mean, I've watched him play, but the average person probably not exactly sure who this is. Exactly. Same thing with Richaun Holmes. The Kings player we just talked about. Again, a person that the everyday average NBA watcher probably doesn't know either one of these guys.
I knew about Holmes because he was on the Sixers and it was bad. So that's the only reason why I knew about it.
I also knew about him from the Sixers, but I haven't. I don't know. He hasn't really gotten much time since, I don't think. But again, I'm not really out there watching Kings games. So.
I think he was starting at one point, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
we're sidetracking. But anyway, so these guys are lower on the totem pole, right? Mm-hmm. These are people you're probably not going to hear about. But so anyway, Caboclo left his room during the Rockets' 48-hour quarantine. Frank, do you want to expand on
Yeah,
that.
so apparently he didn't know that there was even a 48-hour quarantine period. And that's why he just started roaming the campus. And I don't know really what he was doing, because I figured these NBA players have everything they need in their rooms. I mean, you see like guys on like Lou Williams and Patrick Beverley on Instagram on their stories posting like they got their own like PC setups, they got games, everything, and then they have like room service, so people will carefully bring food to their, like, I don't know what they would have to do to leave the rooms for, except for like practice and like maybe like the pool area and like working out. But besides that, like there's specific hours that they have that set. So like I don't know what these guys are like roaming around doing. And I guess he didn't know about the code, which I don't really know how you didn't know, especially when all of your teammates are also doing it. Yeah, that's what he claims, and he just started roaming when everyone was supposed to be like in their rooms for the first 2 days. And yeah, and now has to quarantine now for, I believe, 2 weeks, I think is what they have for every player that breaks the code.
Right.
These are the only two that
right.
the NBA has announced.
Well, both are different circumstances, though. So
yeah.
Holmes just straight up left the area that is designated to the NBA players. Now, I don't know if he was in the initial quarantine, like, you know, the 48-hour thing, like Caboclo, or if this was after, but like he went beyond. How do I put this? So, well, I'll start with Caboclo. So Caboclo gets there, and the NBA wants you to stay in your room for 48 hours while the tests that they took or ran. They just want to make sure that everyone that's in is now not sick and that you don't show symptoms within those 48 hours. It's just like an extra measure before they just unleash you and let you go out and like explore that part of the Disney World that's open to them. So it's like a precaution. So Caboclo broke that. So that's a little worrisome. Luckily, that's the only person, like we said, that we've heard about, and that the NBA's reported on. So at least it was just only one guy that broke that 48-hour thing. Holmes, on the other hand, we don't know if it was during the 48 hours, but he went outside the boundaries of the actual place itself, which is, we'll call it against the rules. I don't know what you want to call it, but he wasn't supposed to do that. And now that he's had interactions outside the bubble, he now has to stay quarantined. So if another player does that, then they're going to also have to undergo the same thing he's going.
Yeah, not only did he go outside the boundaries, but he was in contact with someone who is completely non-related to the NBA and the bubble. So, I mean, you just have to worry about what that delivery driver, like where they were and things like that. So just a higher risk bringing in like an outside source and like germs in. So yeah, that's definitely two different like circumstances. And again, I don't know if like as soon as every team got there, it's like, okay, you have to do your 48-hour quarantine. And then once that's finished and you're all tested negative, then like you're free to roam around. I don't know if that's how it works. I guess if each team arrived different days, possibly.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how it is.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely two guys that just, and I guess in Bruno's case, you know, he didn't know about the code, which I don't really know how he didn't know, but yeah.
Well, I think also to point out is in Bruno's case, like is a one-time deal, like that 48-hour like lockdown. Basically, when you get there, you do it once and then you're done, unless you leave and then for whatever reason then you want to come back. I don't know what player's gonna leave the bubble unless it's like a family thing or something. Then they come back, they'll probably have to undergo the same thing, like stay in your hotel room for like 2 days straight while we make sure your test comes back negative. But most of these players, this is just a one-time deal. Like once they get there, that's it. You gotta stay in your room for 48 hours, and then you're free to do whatever it is they have set up down there to do, which is a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
Holmes, on the other hand, I think we might see more cases where something like this happens. Maybe not so much leaving the bubble, but I don't know. Maybe players won't necessarily know where the boundaries are. there's a chance that a player doesn't wear a mask in an area that they should have, which I'm pretty sure they're supposed to wear them like everywhere except at practice. Which even then, you only take it off when you hit the floor, and that's only for the players. Coaches are wearing them the whole time. Ball boys, like they really have this thing on lockdown. So it's very important that they make sure that these players stay within the bubble and don't make these small mistakes, because all it takes is one guy getting it to, now you're just spreading it to everyone else at practice. So
yeah, I'll tell you what, I guess I can't blame Holmes like totally, because if you see like some of the food that they like that's on the menu, I know J.R. Smith was criticizing it and Joel Embiid also did. It's like stock, like looks like lunch lady prepared meals. So I guess he was like, I need something from somewhere else. So but yeah, I think if he was on like a different team, like let's say it was like the Lakers, it was a teammate from there, or even like the Clippers, for example, I mean, you got to think they might even get scrutinized more, because now you're bringing it back to like a star player like LeBron or AD. Whereas you have like the Kings, it's like, well, we're not even in the playoffs right now anyway. But yeah, definitely.
I don't know how bad it is. Like, I know they're looking at the Disney menu, but I'm sure that each team has personal chefs down there.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
So I don't know. I don't think they're just eating straight Disney food every day. I think it was more of an option for them. And I'm sure maybe they expanded it, but I don't know. I really can't believe that they're eating it every day. Like, I saw the Disney waffles. There's no way, like, these younger guys might, but like, I don't think all of them are going to be eating Disney waffles every morning.
No way.
Joel, maybe.
Yeah, he might. Yeah.
So let me get one of those before the game.
Yeah, before the game, like he's eating grapes for that playoff game.
Christ, I saw a man eat a fucking cheeseburger. Laying on a stretch table.
Yeah, dude.
What a guy.
But yeah, they just gotta make sure they're careful, because it's not only themselves that they're at risk. They're putting their teammates at risk, and staff as well. So yeah. So those are the two, I guess, insignificant guys that are possibly flaring up.
Right. So now, it was tweeted and reported, and it's been on ESPN. So Russell Westbrook also has coronavirus. He was tested, I guess, recently, but if I'm correct, he has not entered the bubble yet.
Yeah, I think him and Harden, it was reported yesterday that they were expected to join their teammates this week. So I guess there's some players that haven't, like, they're not in Orlando yet, and I don't know why that is.
Actually, here's a tweet from Russ. It says, I tested positive for COVID-19 prior to my team's departure to Orlando. I'm currently feeling well quarantined and looking forward to rejoining my teammates when I am cleared. Thank you all for the well wishes and continued support. Yeah. So he caught it before they left. So the team hasn't actually arrived in Orlando yet.
So I guess he'll just quarantine in Houston, and when he's good to go, I guess fly down.
Yeah.
Okay.
It says here, Westbrook co-star James Harden and recent addition Luke Mbah-a-Moute did not travel with the Rockets to Orlando. Wow. Those three. Okay, so that's a little concerning, because that leads into the next thing we're going to talk about. So a lot of people were saying James Harden might have it. It seemed that he is also not leaving with the team would lead me to believe that he might also have it. He hangs out with Russ quite a bit.
I know, yeah. Especially at Astros games when they're high. But what was that elite media group? Are they the ones that tweeted? They said All-Star guard James Harden has tested positive, sources tell. So I guess that's not really confirmed. I don't have like ESPN saying anything.
I don't know. I I'm not gonna trust that source.
Yeah.
If there's plenty of NBA players or analysts that like are pretty trustworthy.
Yeah.
And they've been on top of it. So once I see one of them say something, or it come from the team or the NBA itself, I'll believe it. But for now, I'm gonna say James Harden might have it. Just based on the fact that he's staying behind. Maybe these three hung out together recently and seen that Westbrook has it. Maybe they haven't gotten the test back for the other two. So they're just to play it safe than sorry, they're leaving these two behind, just in case.
Which isn't a bad idea.
Yeah. And if they come up negative, then they could just take a different plane down or something.
Yeah. So we won't say it's confirmed that Harden has it, but there's definitely speculation and reason to believe him and Mbah a Moute may also be joining Russ in quarantining, which would be unfortunate and kind of starts a domino effect, I suppose. If you have to be concerned about the rest of... Not only do you have to be concerned about your two-star players possibly having it, but now maybe the rest of Houston. I mean, who else has it? And then who has Houston been in contact with? Any other teams down there? So it could be the beginning of something bad, but hopefully not.
Right. So Russ is going to miss... Well, he's got to stay quarantined for... I'm going to say 2 weeks because that's usually what it is, but I'm pretty sure you stay quarantined until you get 2 negative tests in a row. So that's what Spence was trying to do in order to join the Nets, and he was unable to get it done. And he just opted out altogether, which is weird because I feel like he still would have had time to get down there for the playoffs, but
yeah.
I don't know. I know it was like kicking his ass, so maybe he'd rather just sit out. Russ, on the other hand, I don't think he's gonna sit out. He plays through like anything and everything.
Yeah.
So as soon as he gets those 2 negative tests, he'll be down there.
Yeah, for sure. And hopefully Harden doesn't have it. All we can say, I guess. If that's the case, I mean, I guess he's like, if he has it, like, unfortunately, if he does, like, he's hoping that this test comes back like as soon as possible so he can get this quarantine done and get his second test in, because their first game is August 1st. So he's just, if it is the worst case scenario, like, he just wants that test back, like, and I'm sure the team does too.
Well, he'll also have to undergo the 48 hours too.
Yeah.
Once he arrives there, so it should be interesting. I really hope that both those guys aren't out, because those were that was my dark horse pick.
Yeah.
So,
People's for sure.
Yeah, we'll see. Another thing we saw is Oladipo. He did travel with the team to Orlando, but it was reported he won't play. And I thought that was very strange. He's come back this season and played multiple games. I think well over 10. Could be wrong though, because it was after All-Star break. But
13.
13. Okay,
yeah.
So it's pretty close. Yeah. So he's been playing. It's been over a year since he's gotten hurt. And so he's going to travel with the team, and they were saying he wouldn't play. Now it's starting to surface that the team is reporting he may play, which to me would make sense. I don't see why he would sit out when he's healthy and he's been playing. I really don't understand when players sit out when they're healthy. To me, it's not helping you in any way, right? Like, you're not delaying the next... Well, I guess that's really what you're doing, is delaying the next injury if you really think there's going to be another one. But it's not... I don't think you're at higher risk for injury as long as you make sure making sure you're not overworking the guy.
Yeah, I think that's their main concern, is just making sure that he's ready. But, I mean, like you said, he's been playing. They took their time, working him through the offseason and getting him back in, and they haven't started him. They've actually started him 10 out of the 13. So they've worked him back in the lineup with restricted minutes, and he's been, playing and been able to be himself, for the most part. Maybe his numbers aren't quite on where he used to be, but I'm sure that's just him getting back into the rhythm and game speed from a significant injury. So, I mean, as long as he's fine and he believes that he's okay and the team thinks that he's ready and there's no risk or cause for concern, I mean, yeah, I don't see why he doesn't really want to play at that point, because they're in a nice spot in the playoffs right now.
There's two sides to the argument. Again, like, I'm one of those people where if you're healthy, I just don't get why you don't play. Like, an injury's gonna happen either way. My thing is, if you look back at players they've gotten hurt, like Derrick Rose, for example, they sat him out for a whole year with that ACL when he could have came back and played towards the end of the season. But they felt it'd be better to sit him out, which, you know what, in a way kind of made sense. I guess don't waste his last 2 months before the, postseason or whatever. So like 2.5 months. Why risk it where he could get injured when you want to have him for a whole season next year? So that's the counter argument to that. And I can see that with him. I can see that with KD. Like, KD's not coming back to play. And again, why risk it when you know next year you're going to have the whole season to work with? You're going to have everybody back healthy. Why go down there and play if you're healthy when this season wasn't really the main objective anyway? Like, we might as well get a full run in. So I can see if he doesn't play with the Pacers, that would make sense for the Pacers to sit him out. But again, he's already played 13 games. I don't see what it's going to hurt to play him more or whatever. Just keep playing him. Like I said, the only thing I see is if they feel that they don't have a shot this year, which, to be quite honest, there's a lot of teams I'd probably take before the Pacers this year. So maybe if you did have a full strength team next year with the Pacers, that would be your time to go after it, not this year. Because I still think the Raptors are better. I'd say Boston. The Bucks are definitely Boston. I don't know. I would actually float Boston and Pacers like equal.
Yeah.
I think so. If Oladipo is healthy and everybody's at full strength, I would probably honestly take the Pacers in a series.
Yeah, I think it'd be a really good series, for sure.
I mean, Boston has the starters, but I feel like just in terms of bench,
Indiana's
I would
deeper,
probably
yeah.
give it to Indiana. Yeah.
How about Miami?
I was gonna say, I think
over
Miami's
Indiana?
definitely better than Indiana.
Yeah.
Because they have depth. Again, maybe the starting lineup wouldn't be as good, but just the amount of depth that's on that Miami team is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Is it crazy to think the Pacers are better than Boston? Or maybe not better.
I mean,
but
I feel like in terms, well, especially with their numbers and their like efficiencies, that I put a lot of stock into. Not saying that's the defining factor, but I think Boston and Toronto are like equal for me. Like, they're right neck and neck. I think Toronto wins in the depth, for sure. I think they can contend with Milwaukee in that case, but I mean, in terms of Indiana and Boston, I would give Boston the edge in offense and maybe defense. I really like Indiana's defense, and I don't know. I mean, if you think about maybe a full season with Oladipo, like you're saying, it might, their numbers might be a little bit different, but I think that'd be a very close series. I just think I'd still give it to Boston in terms of their star power and their starters and the offense.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. Maybe I would put them ahead. That's a tough one for me. Yeah. I mean, it's weird because if you look at them, so I think it also comes down to your matchup. If Boston were matched up, it depends, because, like, all right, let's say Boston plays Indiana in the first round. You can't tell me that Boston's gonna have a lot of problems, because they don't have the bigs, right, to cover Sabonis and Miles.
Yeah,
that's a huge issue. And then the lack of depth, which honestly doesn't matter too much in the playoffs, but at the bigs position, I just don't know. I don't know. I think that'd be a huge problem for Boston. It'd probably be a team I would actually say would knock them out. Whereas if they played Miami, I think Miami's a little bit smaller because Bam's their center. Who's their power forward?
I thought it was like Myers Leonard from time to time.
Yeah,
Could be wrong
it's
about
usually
that.
him or doesn't Derek Jones Jr.? Maybe he doesn't start for them.
I think he starts at the 3. That's what I
starts
thought.
at 3. Oh wait,
I'm talking-
James
it's,
Johnson was
Yeah. I was trying to think of
a starter too, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like that's a team because those are all more of wing players, and it would just I think it'd favor Boston heavily in terms of like just their players on the wing. Although I like Miami's defense, so
In terms of Boston versus Miami, you're
Miami.
saying?
Like I'm saying, I think Boston would have a more favorable chance of beating them than Indiana, just due to the size problem that Indiana presents.
Yeah. I think that's
And I don't know if Gordon... It would really come down to if Gordon Hayward would be able to actually abuse Sabonis from the wing, or Tatum, or whoever ends up matched up against him. It could be a lot for Sabonis to be running around like that.
Yeah, like I like Daniel Weiss a little bit, and like he would be on Turner in this case.
I like
but
him a lot.
yeah, that's what I mean. So like that might be a decent matchup. Turner's brought the 3-point game to his arsenal this season. So I think you have to think about that, and like you said, the size. I mean, Sabonis is. Did he make the All-Star game this year? I thought he did. Yeah. So I mean, he's just been on a tear and just emerging as definitely their best player in Oladipo's absence, and even with him coming back, debatably. So, yeah, they got a powerhouse down there with the bigs in depth. So, I think that's an extremely defensive
what's
series.
interesting is I think Turner has a ton of potential to be their best player. Maybe not best, but definitely like a second option, I feel like.
Yeah.
But he's been more than willing to just kind of do what's needed of him, which has allowed Sabonis to take a huge step. Oladipo, I think, is going to come back and fit right in. Malcolm Brogdon has been having an awesome season. Yeah. And then I honestly don't even know who their 4 is right now. Is it Doug
That's what I'm
McDermott?
looking at. TJ Warren. He's been playing really well this year.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, dude.
What a steal. Yes.
Hold on. I might have to reconsider my outcome for this match.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, and then you look at their bench, and they got a pretty solid bench too. So, although I guess a tempo, like fast paced game would, I don't know. I'd have to see it. I just have to see it. I don't know if Sabonis and I know Turner could run the floor, but I don't know. I don't know if that up tempo style would suit Sabonis, especially if he's chasing multiple guards around on the perimeter.
Yeah,
so I guess that could also land in Boston's favor. And in the playoffs, you're not looking for deep rotations. So, like, Boston has just basically firepower from their 1 to the 6th guy on their team. So you'd have those 4, right? Tatum, Brown, Kemba, Hayward, and then I guess Daniel Tice would start at center.
Mm-hmm. And Marcus Smart is their 6th.
Yeah, Marcus Smart would be big. But after him, like, I don't know. He's like next, Cantor.
I don't know. I may not assume, yeah. I mean, he'll contribute on the boards, but nothing offensively.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of their backup point guard is oh my god, why is his name escaping me? I watched him play this season too.
They drafted Carson Edwards.
He's not bad.
I don't know if he's starts.
But he's not like ideal.
Brad Wanamaker?
Wanamaker, yes.
Yeah. I think he can, like, he's a good shooter. I don't know if he really does anything else. Like, he's not bad.
I just feel like Boston needs an upgrade in that area pretty bad. I don't think that's the next guy you want when you have like Justin Holiday coming off the bench for Indiana and Doug McDermott, who's not the world's best player, but you know, he comes in and does what he needs to do. He hits his shots and again, you could just stagger minutes and putting a guy like that in there is like a guaranteed shooter like that. I think that could just cause a ton of problems.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, like when you look at the Pacers, like you're saying, they just seem like such an unselfish team, like all of them. Like there's no like one guy that they go to. Like I guess when Oladipo's healthy, like he can ISO and get a bucket, and like Sabonis has been really good this year, but they just all contribute to the team's success, and I feel like that's why they are where they are in the standings, and even at a non-full strength team for more than half the season. So they just have just a really a really nice collective group of players that are just willing to fill the role that they're in, and success is the reason for that.
Right. And that also goes to their coach too, who it's Nate McMillan.
Nate McMillan, yeah.
He's a very good coach, and I think he just really, I don't know. This team, honestly, without Oladipo this year, has been really good.
Yeah.
And now that they're adding him back, if he is playing, dude, I really don't. For me, it's hard to. I really like this team a lot.
I really like them offensively. I think they're good offensively
Jeremy
too.
Lamb's on that team. Dude, again, like
they're just so deep,
just a solid guy to plug in for like 6-7 minutes in a playoff game. Just a shooter, dude. I think if you're going against like second units or like whoever's going to be in, like, Jeremy Lamb's probably going to get torched, but like as long as he scores a couple buckets here and there and is not just getting absolutely destroyed,
yeah, it's
just enough time for your starter to just come out, take a rest, and then throw him back in.
Yeah.
Or whoever might be your more of a rotation guy. Dude, Aaron Holiday's on this team.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I thought Justin Holiday. Oh, there he is.
It is Justin, yeah. So that's
TJ Leaf, that's another name I forgot about too.
So if you look at the starting lineups, like we'll just compare. So you have Malcolm Brogdon, Victor Oladipo, TJ Warren, Sabonis, and Miles Turner going against Kemba Walker, Jaylen Brown, Gordon Hayward, Jason Tatum, and Tice. Like that's a really good matchup. But then you look at the bench matchup is Brad Wanamaker, Marcus Smart, Sammy Ojeleye, Grant Williams, and Enes Kanter versus Aaron Holiday, Jeremy Lamb, as you pointed out, Justin Holiday, Doug McDermott, and then this Bidazzi guy. I'm assuming he can rebound.
Well, hold on. Do you think Aaron Holiday is the guy off the bench for them, or TJ McConnell with his playoff experience and just I like TJ a lot. He's pretty smart with it. Yeah, I don't know. He might be the guy that gets the go ahead, but I'm not gonna. Aaron Holiday's been good too.
Yeah, they have Aaron Holiday as second on this depth chart. I don't know how accurate this is.
He's probably been there all season. I'm just saying, like in a playoff game. I mean,
you might go McConnell there.
You might want to put in McConnell, especially if things start going sour. But see, they have options. Like
they're very deep at the point guard.
So I don't know. I really like this team. But it goes, again, to, like, what's a favorable matchup. So, like, if Boston and Indiana somehow went head-to-head, I really wouldn't be surprised if Indiana pulled out.
They could.
And they end up going ahead.
I know, because I didn't even, think about this, really.
But if Boston's playing a team like... Honestly, if they played, like, Toronto, they might get hurt in the paint, but I don't know... I don't know. I think that'd be closer, honestly, because there'd be less area of like a mismatch. Although, again, Toronto has a deeper bench, but I think just in terms of like style play, I think that'd be more favorable to Boston in terms of like how they want to play. So Gordon Hayward's not going to be getting eaten up in the post, and they're not going to be pounded on the boards. I mean, I'm not saying Siakam is a slouch, but I'm just saying, like, Siakam does play a little bit more on the wing, and they play a little bit more up-tempo, at least, I think, when Marc Gasol's not in, so.
I think Toronto definitely wins in the depth department again.
Oh, yeah,
I think that's easy. Probably something you got to worry about. They're a really good shooting team, also, Toronto, so, I mean...
Oh yeah, I'm not saying Boston would upset Toronto. I'm just saying if I think it'd be more favorable to their style of play. I think they'd be allowed to play more of that like 4-out offense than if they played. Although I guess they could do that too against Indiana, but on the other end, I feel like they're just. We'll see, because the game is also straying away from big men, so it could honestly be the complete opposite, where Indiana does not want to play a team like Boston just due to the fact that they're just going to be spreading the floor and running.
Yeah, I mean, if you're asking Jason Tatum who he'd rather guard between Siakam and Sabonis, I assume he goes Siakam.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, they definitely get hurt in the paint more if you're playing this Indiana team. I mean, even Marc Gasol. But, yeah, I feel like Toronto definitely plays a little bit outside more. They just, I feel like they're more of that three-point team than Indiana is. So, which I feel like Boston can probably match up to and defend better. So,
I don't know. It's weird. I don't want to say that I would take Indiana before Boston, but I really think I would.
I mean, it's not crazy. I just
feel like they could adjust pretty easily to whatever's their situation is. Whereas Boston, it's like you gotta make if it doesn't match up well for you, with your starting lineup, it's just looking at your bench. You have no room to make adjustments to satisfy either having more bigs or maybe more shooting. Well, I guess more shooting. I don't know. I just don't know. I just feel like this team is much deeper. Whereas, so if Indiana need to, they could go small and put Sabonis, say, at the 5, and then just plug in, Doug McDermott at the 4.
Yeah.
Which is what they have here. I feel like there's just more options here.
I think they would slide, because I think TJ Warren can play the power forward. I think that's what he did in Phoenix. So, I mean, I think they'd slide him down just to. I think I'd rather have TJ Warren guarding a bigger dude than Doug McDermott. So I think they would slide him down and put McDermott at the 2 or the 3 in that case. But I mean, still they have options like you're saying. So
right, whereas do you want Brad Wanamaker coming in or Ojale? Which again, they're not terrible players, but they're not. I just don't think they're as good as.
I'm taking TJ McConnell or Aaron Holiday over Wanamaker.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean they just have the depth. There's no doubt about it. I think them, Toronto, and Milwaukee are probably your deepest teams in the East and in the whole NBA. I'm not saying that it's in that order, but
no, I agree.
Definitely in the East. Even Miami, you throw in there.
Dude, Miami's got so many pieces. It's crazy. They're very young though.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They're all dogs. I think that's why Jimmy likes this team. Every single one of these young guys, I feel just has the same mentality as him. And if you think about that team, right? So it's Kendrick Nunn. Is Jimmy started the 2?
Yeah,
I think so, right?
And then Duncan Robinson. Yeah.
Yeah, and then James Johnson, I believe.
And they have. Oh, James Johnson isn't. Is he hurt? Because they don't even have him on the roster.
They might have traded him, honestly. I don't. It's been a while.
I mean, they have a ton of depth. I forgot about these dudes.
Dude, I know Tyler Hero is on that team.
Iggy.
He's having a good season. Iggy.
Goran. Jay Crowder.
Dude, I know.
If you consider
Goran
him.
Dragic, no one's talking about at all.
Yeah, dude. Dude's solid. Constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Just scores.
He could honestly start for that team, but Kendrick Nunn just had such a good season. I think they don't want to mess with anything.
Yeah.
Who else?
They have Derek Jones Jr., Kelly Olynyk, I guess, is solid off the bench. Somehow Udonis Haslem is still in the league. Who else here? Jay Crowder.
Myers Leonard's had a good season.
Yeah, they have him starting with Bam. So
okay.
They could that can match up with Indiana. Sure. But I mean again, another team that could give Boston problems down low. Plus their shooting. They're one of the hottest shooting teams all season long. I'm pretty sure they're top 5.
Yeah, I like them a lot. Their offensive rating is 6th in the league. Which
I'm very surprised.
Look at their pace though. They play at they're the 27th
they're slow.
pace in the league.
They should be running.
Which I'm surprised. They're lower than Indiana.
I'm thinking a lot of that is defense. I think that's what they put forth first, and that leads to their
just lock
offense.
it down.
Yeah. I think they
Which
just
is
caused,
fine.
actually.
Well, the thing is, think about it. Their number one scorer is Jimmy Butler, who, again, plays both ends of the ball extremely hard. So like, one, I don't think he's gonna be. I don't think you want to just destroy his energy on offense. But two, I don't know. Like every time I watch Jimmy Butler, he's like, I don't know how to explain it. He's just like such a methodical scorer. Like he's just so like slow with the things he does, but he gets open, like scores. I don't know how to explain it. It's not like watching all these other guys that just run out like 100 the whole time.
Yeah.
Like he just takes his time, like gets to the spot where he wants to score and then does it.
Yeah, he just sets up the offense beautifully. Like he's just such a unselfish guy, I feel like.
And the ball movement on this team is insane. So
yeah,
they're more than willing to move the ball around.
The Miami's they're ranked 25th overall in terms of their defensive like seconds per possession. So that means they're like it's taking a long time for other offenses to like put up a shot and like find something. So yeah. So I guess that's a huge contributor to that. But I guess they don't run after being the 7th slowest team in the NBA.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know what the cause for that. Not shocked by the defense there. Seconds.
Yeah. So I'd probably still have it. I honestly don't know how Boston has so many wins this season. Again, I haven't watched Boston, but out of these last two teams we talked about, I can't believe they're behind them. I guess Miami is younger, so that probably contributed to a couple more losses. Honestly, what a big turnaround for them. I thought they were going to be like an 8 seed.
That's what I thought.
A lot of people thought it was crazy that I was saying they'd even make the playoffs, but I thought they would, but I didn't predict that. For a while, dude, they were like the number 1 seed in the East, like at the start of the season.
Yeah, dude.
And then they sat at 2 for a long time. Which honestly, 2 is still, I guess things would have to go crazy wrong, but during these seeding games, but at 2 is still, they can still grab it.
They could, yeah. I mean,
they could even grab Boston's spot easily.
They definitely
I think that
could.
only happened recently. Indiana, they've been playing without their star player in Oladipo, so.
And look at where they are.
It's
kind of crazy.
Exactly. So, we'll see what happens with that. I don't know. And then the Sixers,
honestly, Miami.
This is where I start losing faith. I don't know. I don't know if the Sixers are better than the Celtics. They just have so many fucking problems, dude.
Well, we've won the season series finally. This is the first time in the past decade.
Joel would eat. That's You don't have to worry about that. But I just.
Well, if you're playing Marcus Gasol,
that away record, man, and you're not home at all.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how much it's gonna matter now for like any of the teams.
I did read today that Ben Simmons I think the coach said he's happy with how Ben Simmons is playing at power forward during scrimmages.
Yeah, they're gonna go Shake Milton at the 1, which I really like him, but he's been playing incredible. But I don't know if that's a good idea because now you have Shake Milton playing point, and then when Ben doesn't have the ball, and he's just sitting, just being useless.
Let me put it this way: so Embiid, right? Is probably your biggest like mismatch on this team. After that, I don't know how I feel about the rest. Simmons obviously can torch anybody and is just a problem himself, but non-shooting is gonna kill them in the half court.
Yep.
Now he can get by people pretty easily. I've seen him do it a ton. But if you look at like the teams above them, I don't know if you're just running by anybody and scoring. And I don't know if it's going to be a cakewalk for Embiid either, other than the Celtics. Like Milwaukee, I'm going to say no. I feel like that's just problems.
Yep.
Toronto, they got Marcus Gasol, they got Siakam. So, again, I think that's just going to cause problems for them. Especially since their guard play would not be as strong anyway. So it's like even the weaker spots, which Lowry, dude, nobody gives Lowry enough credit. He's also like Probably one of the top point guards in the league.
It could.
Mm-hmm. Then you got Boston, who could cause problems on the wing, I guess. Horford's actually not such a bad perimeter defender.
I do like that we've taken Horford out of the starting lineup.
Oh yeah, right.
And not starting him with Embiid.
On, I guess you'd put him on Tatum.
Which is, I mean, he's usually on him. Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
And then is Thibault starting? You'd probably put him on Kemba.
No, I think it's going to be Shake Milton, Josh Richardson, Tobias Harris.
Right, yeah, so Josh would probably go on Kemba, and then you put Tobias on Jaylen Brown. To just, or maybe Warren Hayward. Just to
probably him.
Hide him as much as possible.
Yeah, because Tobias is no doubt our worst defender in that lineup.
But see, now we're just like thinking so much against Boston, right? If you go down to Miami, I think that's just problems all around. I don't know if Embiid would just feast, maybe.
Well, you're going to try.
But I don't know. Because the duel of Bam and Myers-Leonard, like, Myers-Leonard's pretty big. And Bam's just extremely athletic, so I feel like he could cover a lot of floor. Especially if you guys aren't shooting with Simmons. Like,
yeah.
He could just fucking float around. Same thing with Indiana. They got big bodies to throw at you inside. So, and they have one of the best defenses in the league. Actually, both those teams do, so that's an issue.
I think I would just worry about if we honestly just can't shoot, which we've added some depth there in Glenn Robinson and Alec Burks a little bit, and Thibault's really developed his shot. And now the emergence of Shake Milton.
Yeah. So, Call me crazy. As we're going through this, I think besides Boston's starting lineup, right? Like, they're probably the more favorable matchup for a lot of these teams.
Yeah, in the East, yeah.
Like, I would say, out of all these top teams here, like, that's someone I'd want to play.
I don't know. I mean, for our history, which I gotta throw out, like, the fact that there's like no home court here, but I mean, I probably would want to play them. I going into this, I felt like Indiana was the team I wanted us to play, which, I mean, that's how it would start if the standings were how they are now. But I guess Boston would be my second choice.
Well, Boston, they'd be playing Boston right now.
Oh yeah, you're right. Never mind. I was looking at the 5. Yeah, so I mean, I guess it's not a bad position to be in, but I mean, you're right. I honestly think we have more depth than Boston right now. Like, after the trades and everything. I still don't think we're a very deep team.
Yeah, but probably give it to
because now you have Al Horford off the bench, you have Glenn Robinson, Alec Burks, and Thibault. I don't even know who plays center for us, but yeah, I think we have more depth. Again, I still don't think we have.
I'd put Allen as my backup center.
Yeah, I don't know who are.
Mike Scott.
Ah, never mind. I want Brad Wanamaker over him. But yeah, I think we have more depth than them at this point. But in terms of offensive power and especially coaching, we're gonna get outcoached so bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I like these top seeds. Even Philly, like, is interesting.
I'm always gonna root, and I always think we have a chance. I am a fan, but I can be realistic and realize when we have problems, and we do. So
now, once you get past 6, is where it gets honestly just like, why did we invite these teams? So Washington, no Bradley Beal. So why they get an invite, I don't know. They honestly shouldn't be down there. It's stupid.
Well, they allowed them in before Bradley said, like, I'm not playing.
You're right. But just get them out of there.
Yeah, now it's like, that's what I mean, dude. Now like, it's like Minnesota has a chance, right?
Else.
If Minnesota can win 8 straight, it's like, invite them in.
I say just get rid of them. Get just one less team. It's honestly just like, why?
It's a waste, dude.
Just plug in.
They're not going to win a game.
That game with another game with somebody else or something.
I don't think
I guess it's too late, but oh my gosh.
And he's not playing. I feel like it's a good reason. Like, First off, it has to be such a catastrophic, like, for either you guys or Orlando for them to not get in. Now that he's not playing, he also has a shoulder injury, which I think he's nursing.
Well,
so
it wouldn't actually be catastrophic. So it's only, again, you only need to be within 4 games to get the play in. So yeah, they're only 2 games out of that. So if one of these 2 bottom teams shits the bed bad, like, you get a playing game.
You guys have a better chance at shitting the bed than Orlando now.
So, but if they get it in that 4-game area, so say we do go into the play-in, playoff, whatever, the 9 seed needs to win 2 games to get in, whereas the 8 seed only needs to win 1. So, again, it's so heavily in the favor of these top 2 staying in, but I don't know. But
now that he's
without Bradley
playing,
Beal, I'm not concerned about this at all.
No, I don't. Again, I don't even know if they win a game. Like, I didn't see it was on their schedule, but I mean,
they might win a game or 2, maybe.
But
they're definitely the weakest team here by far now.
Oh yeah.
Were the Suns invited to this thing?
Yeah, they're in.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they're better than them too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, the Wizards aren't even... Let's stop talking about it, because that's not going to happen. There's nothing there. Then we'll talk about Orlando. Orlando is probably the best team out of these 3 shitty ones, I think.
They're at full strength.
Full strength. They got some depth. I'm not saying they're the best team in the world, but
no.
I don't know. It should be interesting to see how Markelle Fultz plays. Although I don't even know if he's a starter, because I know DJ Augustine's still been good. They do have Michael Carter-Williams now.
Let's see. Orlando. It is Fultz.
It is Fultz. It should be. I don't know. I'm interested to see what he does, because I haven't really watched him play yet this season. I know he's turned it around, but I mean, turning it around isn't much when you literally didn't play last year. So,
yeah.
But I do like this team. It's not. They're not going to win anything. Like, if they go into the first round, they're probably going to get swept. They're definitely going to get swept if they're 8.
Yeah, no doubt.
They're 7 seed. Maybe they win a game. That's about it. Yeah, I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
Yeah, I think they'll put forth a better effort than Detroit did against Milwaukee. That's about it.
Probably.
That's about all we can say.
And then Brooklyn, they just half their roster's not even there. So
yeah, I mean, this is just a throwaway for you guys, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just really no point, no point to risk anyone.
I'm interested to see how Karras plays, because he was really just like turning it up right before this all stopped. Like, he was having a good season, but man, like, literally, I think a week before this all ended, he had that 51-point game against Boston. Yeah, and led a huge comeback. And now there's no one else down there to fight him for, like, that spot, like, as the guy.
Yeah, he'll be
Dinwiddie's out.
Yep.
Durant's not going. Kyrie's not going to be there. Yeah, so it's like, it's his to do what he wants. So it should be interesting. A name, you know what? I'm going to throw this out there, because I know a lot of you don't watch the Nets, but Chris Chiozza, watch him play, dude. I like him a lot. I hope we bring him back next year.
Chris Chiozza.
Because Dinwiddie, when we were playing in that Boston game, I don't know if Dinwiddie was in foul trouble. For some reason, he was on the bench. Chiozza filled in, I'll say, like, towards the end of the third. And then Kenny just played him all the way through the fourth. Just so smart with the ball. You wouldn't expect this guy to be in his second year, but, like, oh my God, just made every right decision. And, like, hustled. It's like, Jesus. It's so much nicer than watching Dinwiddie turn it over 4 or 5 times. Like,
yeah, I definitely haven't seen him play, but
we'll see what happens. I don't know if he'll start. There's definitely a chance that I don't know, because it's not Kenny anymore either, so I can't really read the mind of Jock Vaughn. I don't know what he's going to do.
Jacques.
Fucking started DeAndre Jordan over Jared Allen.
Horrible.
So, I mean, they're 2-0 with him in
Did they play?
that lineup. Oh, let's see. I don't even know. Looks like they barely won these games.
Oh, yeah.
They beat Chicago 110-107.
Very tough, yeah.
And they beat... Wait, what? We beat the Lakers 104-102. Who? Did LeBron not play? Was he sick? No, they both played. Anthony Davis and LeBron. What? Shit. Well, that's pretty impressive.
All right, DeAndre it is, I guess.
They have a 17-minute set game.
Yeah, they have Chioza as fourth on the depth chart behind the Gremlin Tyler Johnson, and I've never seen Chris Chioza play, but
fourth.
Yeah, they have him fourth, right behind Johnson.
Really?
That's what I mean. Like I haven't seen this kid play, but I'm not. Tyler Johnson's not above anyone, in my opinion. So, no shot.
I didn't mind the Tyler Johnson signing, but now I'm starting to wonder because he also had Jamal Crawford now too. So, I keep saying we. It's like I'm on the fucking team. Put me in, coach.
You got a lot of forwards.
This team is just log jammed with cards. Like how many guards are on this team? And I'm saying, like even with the injury, right? Like the injuries that we have and people not going. It's crazy. That's why I'm starting to wonder if maybe trading like 2 or 3 of these guys for Bradley Beal is not such a bad idea.
That's what I'm thinking. Like,
because just to have one all-star shooting guard instead of 5, like okay guards.
Yeah. Like, is it going to be
Karras.
Is it going to be Dinwiddie? Is it going to be Karras? Like gone in that trade?
I would love to see Sean Marks do it without trading Jared Allen.
I think that's possible.
If he can do it without trading Jared Allen, I'm all for it. If it involves Jared Allen, I'm
against it.
Maybe not against it. It's very hard for me to say yes, though.
You think they'd have to throw something else in? Probably the Wizards.
We'd probably get Bryant,
which isn't terrible.
No, but he's not Jared Allen.
No, not at all.
If people ride too high on DeAndre Jordan, again...
Which I think they are.
I like DeAndre Jordan a lot, but he's 31. I think he's 31. He's played a lot now. So, like, it's not like he's, like, fresh legs.
No.
I like what he brings. I love him as a backup center. I like his personality. I think he also, like, helps his team a lot. And I think he's been good for Jared Allen, really. Like, as someone to practice against and, like, pick their mind. I've never seen Jared Allen be, like, just so strong when he goes up against dudes.
Yeah.
Like, this year he's really just been... I don't know. If you look at Jared Allen from last year to this year, you would have thought, like, this guy ate Popeye spinach or something. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I think he's good, like, good relief for Jarrett when he comes out.
Oh,
like
he's amazing.
Just a veteran
presence. He's an
presence
amazing backup center. Yeah. I think he probably could still start in the league. I just don't know. Again, he's older, dude. It's like... and Jared Allen's only 22?
21.
Oh, 21. Probably going to be turning 22.
Yeah. DeAndre's, 31. I mean, DeAndre's still getting 10 boards a game. So, yeah, like you said, that's solid for a backup.
A 22-year-old center who only weighs, what is this, like a little less than 30 pounds in DeAndre. Like, he'll get there. Like, he'll put on, like, dude.
Yeah, I think
he plays just so much, like, I don't know. I think he's very similar to DeAndre, and he's younger. To me, it just doesn't make sense to get rid of him.
No, not at all. He's just freakishly athletic and just great for, like, even like a Kyrie pick and roll and just perfect. Someone that grabs boards and like you said, he'll develop. He'll be better. He blocks shots. I mean, what more can you ask for? And you just surround him with shooters.
My concern really is like he does do the same things as DeAndre, but I think that just the age, like, I don't know. Like, DeAndre's at the point where, like, he's one injury away from
calling it quits, yeah.
Not calling it quits per se, but like just making it so that I don't know. This
It's
gonna
gonna
be a
set
tough
him
season.
back.
Like if we don't have him, and we don't have Jarrett, it's like now who's gonna be there in the middle?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nick Claxton.
Especially then.
Which I do like him, but
I do too, but he's not. I don't know. He's neither one of those two.
No.
And to me, it's just with KD right now, you just need that the insurance that he's gonna have a guy behind him to help. Because I don't know. I just don't know how his defense is gonna be when he comes back. Especially now he's gonna be playing the 4, which is not. I don't think it's gonna be an issue with where the league's going, but there will be nights where like he's gonna need that help.
You think that's where they put him? Before?
Yeah, I think he's gonna start 4.
I'm just thinking like if that trade, well, yeah, even if Bradley Beal was in it. Yeah, I guess he would be at the 4 then.
I would plot. It'd probably be Kyrie. Well, we'll just go with the current roster because that's like all speculation. So it'd be Kyrie, I'm gonna say Karras, Joe, then KD, and then I would put Allen in. Like that would be my starting 5.
That's what I would say. Yeah.
And then you can mix it up. But anyway, we spent too much time on this. So Nets aren't doing anything in the bubble.
You never know.
We could look at the West, but I just honestly, dude, just top to bottom, like I like a lot of these teams.
Yeah, they're all.
I think the 8 seed's probably gonna be the only interesting thing. And honestly, like no matter what team gets in, it should be exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that the 8, 9, 10 matchup. Who's gonna be able to sneak in against Memphis? That's what I'm tuning in for.
I don't want to see any of the teams fall out. But I also want to see the Pelicans make it.
I'd rather see the Pelicans in there instead of Utah, if I had the choice.
Really?
Like just like for viewership, like who I'd rather watch play. Not saying that they're better,
I guess.
but just like
Utah is just so.
Like they're really good. Defensively.
Who's hurt for Utah though? One of them's not going. Bogey?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. That sucks.
That's really bad. They're
Because
just
he's a big part of their offense.
I feel like they're just such a non-interesting team, but like they're good. I don't know. I feel like they're just not exciting to watch. Besides Donovan Mitchell,
I'm just wondering when one of these teams here just blows it up and says, "We're restarting."
I think.
Does Portland do it first?
I think Portland's
Honestly,
got to be the
all
first.
these teams, probably them, right?
I'm thinking Portland. Yeah.
When do the Thunder trade Chris Paul? Or do you keep him?
I don't know. Because he's
I don't know
been
either.
solid there. I mean, you got to, like, who else is a veteran on that team? Like him and Gallo?
Gallo's a free agent this summer, I think. They were trying to trade him.
I think they want that. I think they want that to be Shai's team.
Gallo would be a nice pickup.
Yeah. I think they want that to be Shai's team, I think. Him and Adams. I don't know. Adams is only like, what, 28, 29? He might be 30, actually. But I don't think they move.
No, he's in his 20s.
Yeah.
I mean, Dallas isn't going
He's like
anywhere.
26.
Dallas is going to be probably at the top of the shit next season.
Yeah. I think I would say, I'd agree with you. I'd say Portland is probably the first team to blow it up. And even Houston. Like, how much longer are they going to try this James Harden experiment?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like,
do they keep plugging in pieces around James Harden? I mean they probably get rid of Russ first, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, they'll probably
but what
try
do you bring in?
This small ball, like, they haven't even tried it for half a season yet. So I think they're going to give it a chance. But you got to think, like, Golden State coming back next year. Are they just going to run into them again? And then you have Dallas, who's forming a team right now, and they're on the up and up. So,
well, I mean, yeah.
I just worry about Houston running into that, like, same problem, like Western Conference Finals, or even like the second round, which I think I don't know.
Well, here's where there's an issue. So I'm looking at this is tough. So I would say Portland, out of the teams towards the top, would probably blow it up first. But
Yeah.
San Antonio, they're done.
No
I
doubt.
don't know.
Yeah.
Now, do they blow it up, or do they just kind of like let LaMarcus and DeMar just kind of ride off into the sunset?
I think they build around them, yeah. Because I don't know who's trading for LaMarcus
They might
Aldridge.
same. So I think they're probably just going
So-
to keep bringing him back, but they're not paying him a lot.
No.
The Suns, I don't know. I kind of like what they're doing. They haven't had Ayton for like a good portion of the season, so I'm not
Yeah,
going to
I like
count
their
them out yet.
They have all young players. I don't know what they do with Booker. I feel like
I think it's time for Sacramento to figure something out.
yeah, they're one of the picks that is like they have a young team, but it's like they're blowing it up early because like they just haven't done anything for the longest.
It's so
It's
hard
weird.
because each year they're not that bad, but they're not going to win anything, and
They're
don't
just
have
kind of average. Yeah.
They don't have a like superstar on that team. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah. It's not
Like,
like
they have
it's
a
not
lot
like
of solid pieces, but they don't even have an all-star really.
yeah, like I would compare them to Indiana, like that they all are like just like at a collective effort. Of course, Indiana being better, but like if you were gonna point to someone, you could be like Oladipo or like Sabonis. On this team, it's like Buddy Hield, De'Aaron Fox. It's like nowhere near like that superstar.
Probably Bagley,
Or him.
maybe.
You know what I mean? So it's like I really don't like they have like these pieces, and I just don't know what they're gonna do with them. It's really interesting.
Yeah. Pelicans
feel-
are going to keep the team they have. The
Yeah.
Grizzlies aren't changing anything.
Yeah, the
Oh,
Grizzlies
this is
on the up
tough,
and up,
dude.
too.
Because Golden State comes back next year too. So like
That's what I mean, dude.
that's just another playoff spot taken from one of these teams that are going to be good.
It's like-
Minnesota is not. We haven't seen Cat and D'Lo play together, even though that's probably like the worst big guard
no defense.
defense team ever. But I'm interested.
They just need a few pieces to fill in the 2 through 4 there.
Yeah,
even like
I don't
you
know why
were
they got rid
saying,
of
like-
Covington. That was stupid.
I know, dude. Like that was just the perfect fit. I did like when you mentioned possibly moving Cat up to the 4 and maybe putting in like a center of some sort, or who knows what they would do. Because I don't know, I feel like that would fit him more because he plays on the perimeter, but 'cause he can shoot. But
Just looking at all these teams, though, like the amount of talent that's in this league is crazy.
yeah,
I don't know how we haven't had an expansion yet.
yep.
And I would say it'd be coming soon, but now all this
I'd love
Corona
that.
stuff's happened. They've lost so much money. I'm not too sure it's happening anytime soon.
And especially
Sucks.
with how Seattle is right now with what's going on over there.
I mean,
Dangerous
Seattle
times.
has well, they have an arena
Mhm.
and it's renovated for hockey for next season. Like it'll be ready to go.
Yeah.
And it can be transformed. They already had the basketball plans in place, so they're making sure that the arena can be also used for basketball.
There's so many players that are just advocate like they want a team. Like KD about his
yeah.
shocking that they don't have a team.
Even if it was just a one-team expansion, dude, like I feel like they can. There's just so much talent. Like I don't know if you had an expansion draft. I don't know what teams. There's gonna be teams that might have a hard time just like picking what guy they want to let go. Although it could also lead to you letting go of a guy who has a high contract that you just don't want to pay anymore.
Yeah.
So you could see decent players actually make their way over there. Like, for example, if the expansion draft happened tomorrow, and depending on what Boston wants to do, not saying they would, because they might do something else, but if they wanted to get rid of Gordon Hayward's contract, one way to do it would say, here, this guy is in the draft pool for the expansion.
Yeah. That's very true. I think
Although I think they'd rather use his money as trade piece, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, because I could see, like we were just talking about with the Spurs. I mean, did you
Andre
see
Drummond?
Yeah, I was thinking him. I mean, maybe they could let like Aldridge go, and he would slide over there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, because nobody's trading for that, and that's just a salary dump. Maybe not so much DeRozan, but I mean, who knows?
Honestly,
but yeah.
Depending on what the Thunder want to do, they're so stingy with assets, but maybe Chris Paul.
Imagine Chris Paul in a Sonics jersey, dude.
Dude, the Rockets, if they really can't figure it out, and they're like, damn, we're paying a lot of money, goodbye, Russell Westbrook.
Yo, dude.
Go to the team that drafted you.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
It's also making me sad that it's not happening yet. But, man.
This stuff's interesting. This is why I love Seattle.
I think, yeah, even with an expansion draft, I feel like they could form a team that's better than, like, Cleveland.
Right, and they'd still get a high pick in the regular draft, too.
Yeah.
And I think they'd get extra picks. I don't know how it would work. I know they'd still get a high pick. I don't know how the lottery works out, though. Or if they're just, like, placed somewhere. I don't know. It's been a while since the NBA's done that.
Yeah.
It's crazy because the Hornets left Charlotte for 2 seasons, and they got another team right away. And it's fucking garbage. Yeah, it's been 12 years since the Thunder left Seattle, and we still don't have it. Or, sorry, the Sonics. Whatever. That team, because not technically the Sonics, but you know what I mean.
It's just very sad. Like, everybody... This is a basketball town. Just crazy.
I don't know. I'd like to see them expand there, but also expand to that World Cup format we talked about in an earlier episode.
That would be cool, yeah.
Because I think that would also allow more of these teams with talent to get into the playoffs and have a chance. Especially for these late season teams that are like making runs. So like the Pelicans, the Kings were making a run towards the end there. Portland. And there's some teams that I think were also like moving up. I don't know. Not really in the East. The East is just garbage. It'd honestly probably make the East better because they'd be like, shit. Like, we get playoff revenue for just being in the top 20, which is just not hard when it's 2/3 of the league. Yeah. So.
I think you were saying the Kings maybe like could move, but I mean, I don't know if they get in, but I mean, they're there. They got a chance.
Well, they were hot before the cutoff, so I'm just saying, like, if they did the World Cup format, it would favor them in a full season because they'd be on the hot streak. And for teams that are, on a decline, like, I don't know.
Declining, in the playoffs?
Like, who've had a bad streak towards the end here till everything's shut down or whatever. Who would, if it was a regular full season, like, March into April, are just having a real tough go of it. If we did the World Cup format, then that team, sure, they placed into a certain group, but like all bets are off. You're restarting now, so that team that busted their ass and is like playing really good is probably more likely to make it than to the actual bracket itself, like the actual playoff format, than the team that was sliding. So, for example, like if Denver dropped, I don't know, say they're 13 of their last 20 games, and now they still made it into the bracket. It's an opportunity, or into the grouping stage. There's still an opportunity for them to get into the playoffs and actually improve on where they slid, or it's just an opportunity for a huge collapse in one of these other teams to come and take it, who actually played well towards the end. So I think that makes that more exciting. So those are two things I'd like to see the NBA do.
Yeah, I would love to see the World Cup format. It's just something interesting, just a change from the normal pace of things. Like
it just rewards good play.
and you're matching up against. I mean, if you get stuck in a division or a group, I should say, that very tough opponents. I mean, it's unfortunate, but I mean, you're seeing different opponents every few days, so it's definitely a more interesting format than just like a series with one team. So I do kind of like that aspect of it too.
Yeah. All right, we've been going really long, even though we said we had nothing to talk about today. So
this happens.
Yep. Frank, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube at Swainatra.
And you can find me, Mackie Ireland, on Twitter, Instagram, and wherever else you do your social media. You can also find Rim Grazers on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You can also listen to us on Spotify. Oh boy, SoundCloud, YouTube.
Yeah.
Our website. Don't forget we have a website, guys. You could go look at it, but I don't know. That's up to you. Where else? We have a ton of places. The only place we are not on yet is iTunes. We're working on it. And you'd also check out Rim Grazers on our social media platforms. So, oh wait, I already said that.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Advertise some more.
Yeah, please go look at our stuff.
Yes.
Thank you for listening.
Peace.
Bye.